So I finally passed the C1 Dele Spanish exam this year, but I still remember when I was a complete beginner learning Spanish from scratch. So in order to have a faster start into the language and learn Spanish up until a B1 in 3 months, these are the steps that I would take. Let's start with the materials I suggest you use. You have two options that provide you a general structure. Because since we're on a timeline, we want to limit distractions and overwhelm with resources. The first one is called Basic Spanish 1 through 3. So they have about 3 courses and they cover A1 to A2 levels by the time that you finish. This course is available on edX by UP Valencia, and it is free if you audit and make an account on edX itself, but you can pay for the certificate that's available for about $100 if you would like. The units is first getting started. The next one is called One Step Further, Getting There, which is where afterwards you will achieve around an A2 level. Takes about 4 weeks. So if you think about this logistically, you're going to spend anywhere between 56 to max 71 hours total. This course is recommended if Spanish is your first language that you are learning, or if you want a more in-depth study that covers consistent practice of all skills. So listening, reading, writing, vocabulary, and grammar. I will give you the other choice of Bienvenidos al Español A1 only, which is provided through Coursera. Also free if you audit, but you must make a free account on Coursera, but you can also pay for the certificate, which is also about $100. It takes less time to get through this course in itself. So we have A1.1, which is lasting about 5 hours. Then we have A1.2. After those, 15 hours, return to the UP Valencia course provided by edX and start with Getting There to achieve your A2. If you add up all of these here, that's around 31 hours total to reach A2 if you go this route. Now, I only recommend this route if you already have high, intermediate, or advanced levels in other Romance languages. This course gives you the basis that you need. I've tried both of them. They're both really good. If you need something faster, that will just give you a really good overview of what you can expect to need to know by an A2 in Spanish, then this second pathway is for you. Next thing I recommend is always having outside of your chosen base resource pathway, a supplemental resource. This supplemental resource can be really anything that you deem it to be. I usually am going to recommend any of the below Spanish textbook series to start with. Of course, all of these series I have tested out, not only in Spanish, but in other languages. And I want you to not overthink what resource is quote unquote the best one. We think we will miss out on something important by not using all of these books, right? All of these resources basically teach us the same thing. Of course, delivery will be slightly different, but you're putting yourself already at a disadvantage if you get all of the textbooks and programs you see for Spanish, because then you're going to feel overwhelmed and you're going to start to second guess yourself even more about where, how, why even to start your Spanish journey. So don't search far and wide. Try one at a time. If you don't like it, then try another on this list. In case you want an extra resource for practice with more exercises for writing by hand especially, then Practice Makes Perfect Basic Spanish is a good option for doing so. By the way, if you do find that your mind goes blank and or you freeze under pressure while trying to speak Spanish, I do have a free training that will help you fix that with just 3 minutes a day and with only 5 words. So sign up for it in the comments below. I want you to decide what you want to be able to do in Spanish at the end of these 3 months. We're going to call that your overall goal. To help us standardize what I'm talking about a little bit more, we're going to use what the Common European Framework for Spanish skills at B1 says. It defines B1 as an independent user that's capable of handling most situations encountered in daily life and travel. So think about topics or one topic that you want to talk about and decide how you want to carry that out and when. No problem if your own goal with Spanish does not have to do immediately with speaking at the end of these 3 months. We are all different as language learners, and we need to adapt our language learning and goals to what works best for us. So if your overall goal has more to do with writing, reading, or listening, then of course, Make sure you can write or read or listen to the given topics above in our definition. After you have established what your overall goal for these next 3 months is, we're going to give you the full schedule for what month 1 looks like. The standardized way to go about this is dedicate to your base resource courses, either Path 1 or Path 2, as we have described before. And by the end of finishing those resources, as we established, you can achieve an A1 level in 1 month if you do dedicate about 2 hours per day to finishing your chosen pathway, especially if you have a strong Romance language background. And it'll still be attainable if this is your very first foreign language you're learning or you don't have experience with a similar language, but it may take a little bit more time because we don't have those associations from other similar languages. If you only have about 30 minutes to an hour per day instead of 2 days, you might take 2 months to finish and reach an A2 level in Spanish. And I want to emphasize that's okay too. Do what works best for your life season so you don't burn yourself out or make yourself feel guilty for going at a more relaxed pace. Month 2, you're going to finish up any A1 or A2 lessons from the courses as our main base resources if you're going at a relaxed pace. If you are at this point in month 2 done with your course, you can review any weak points you noticed working through A1 to A2 courses because we're going to run into at least some. So these can be any grammar, vocabulary, general structures that you keep on forgetting. This is where you use your supplemental resource or resources to drill those. If you have less confidence with certain skills in general, that will help you reach whatever goal you have with Spanish. So reading weakness, but you want to read a novel, right? You work on that. I want to also give you a link in the card for how to set up a reading system that will help you combat those weaknesses. Again, if you want to work on speaking, this is where I would add a conversation lesson in month 2, about 30 minutes for 1 time per week minimum. This really helps you synthesize all that you've learned up to this point. And conversation topics can be the same conversation topics you covered in your base resource course. Other examples, if your overall goal does not have to do with speaking necessarily, right? If you want to work on writing, then definitely also see my video for how to master writing in any language above. It's beginner friendly. If you want to work more on listening and reading, that will help you achieve your overall goal by the end of these 3 months in Spanish. You can add resources like different podcasts or graded reader novels for A1 to A2, any sort of kid shows, YouTube videos. You can see my Spanish resources video here, also linked in the card above, and in the description below for finding what you like. If you already feel confident with this, then you can start with your B1 journey either at the beginning of month 2 or in the middle of month 2. My supplemental resource turns into a base resource here once you are ready to do so. Living Language Intermediate Spanish is what I recommend, and specifically their complete edition. You can use these textbooks as mentioned above, or you can use your own that is designated for B1. I also highly recommend Lingoda slide downloads for B1, believe it or not. You just have to make a free account with them on lingoda.com, wherever you start in month 2 with your B1 material. I would recommend doing 2 hours a day if that is sustainably fitting in for you. For month 3, we are increasing speaking to 2 times per week, especially if your goal is to produce the language orally. And I would recommend anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes each with those speaking sessions. Again, the free training listed in the comments below will really help you develop this habit for speaking and not freezing up anymore if you're interested. And the overall goal of month 3 is to finish the B1 intermediate base resource, of course. The second goal of month 3 is, of course, to achieve that overall goal that you set for yourself that makes you more confident that you can practically apply your skills at a B1. So, for example, if I had set my overall goal as having to do with a speaking goal, and I said to myself, hey, at the end of 3 months, I'm going to have a 30-minute Spanish conversation class, and I'm going to aim to use only Spanish to talk about my childhood and my interests. And with such a speaking goal, I would not be aiming for perfection, of course. I would just simply ask myself, did I make myself understood by the end of the lesson? And did I only stay in Spanish? If I knew that I did, and I did that at the end of month 3, then I will have known that I have accomplished my goal. But again, your goals are going to be very specific to you. So there you have it, my whole routine for what I would do if I were you in order to learn Spanish in 3 months up until B1. Let me know what was most helpful for you down in the comments below, where you are currently in your Spanish journey. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this and other mindful language learning content, and I'll see you in another video soon.